Hi guys, this is Elizabeth with eBeth Art, and I'm back with another video. So today I'm going to be doing something that I have been anticipating and wanting to do for a very long time, and I'm excited to get started on it. Today I'm going to be making my very first OC character. I mean, the first official one anyway. So what you see on the screen is some drawings and concept work that I've done already for a character I've had in mind for quite a while. For I have like come up with a story and everything for her, and I'll tell you about her as we go throughout this journey. But yeah, want you to take a look at what I have on the screen. I have a basic concept idea for what I want her to look like, and some facial expressions, just kind of, you know, see her personality, her character traits. And so I want you guys to look at this first before I start drawing, so you kind of have an idea of what I'm going for. Um, this is probably going to be a series of different parts, and I really want to use her in some things that I do in future projects. So yeah, let's get started. I'm really excited to do this. So I'm just going to pick the pen I want, and we're going to start messing around and see what I can come up with. Here, I'll choose this pencil, and let's go. So I kind of want to make a full body, just a kind of front view full body of her. So we have, and I can work out all the details of her color palette, her body type, all those things that I was kind of messing around with before, but I would kind of like to make a finalized version in this video. And in future videos, I will, put her in different poses and talk more about who she is, although I definitely want to talk about that today. I'm not going to go into it too much because I can ramble on and on about that kind of stuff, but just so you guys have a basic understanding of what I'm doing, I'm using shapes to mask out a basic body. So she is female, she's about 16, 17 years old. So teenager. She has a very basic standard body type, nothing too remarkable. She is wearing a ball gown. Suppose I should give a little bit of background on her before so you understand where I'm coming from. She is a princess character. She's in like the Middle Ages, sort of. She lives in a fictional kingdom called Somnia. And keep in mind, I've created all of this. This is all my original story, characters, everything. So she is the youngest daughter of a king, and she, by coincidence, has become heir to the throne because of her father's last-minute decision on his deathbed. And so, yeah, I wrote the story all by myself. So if it's kind of cheesy, I mean, I've come up with all of this. So, but yeah, and I've had a basic idea in my mind of what I wanted her to look like all this time. Her name is Luna Eptide. Eptide's her last name. And, yeah, you'll see where I'm kind of going with all of this, I think. Like, I really hope you will. Cut that out. So yeah, as you saw in those other character designs, I already have like a basic idea of what I want her to look like, but I want to make a more detailed, finalized version that I can look back on when I'm doing different poses and such. Okay, like that. Yeah, she has a ball gown like this. I'm drawing her in her, I would say, like, everyday outfit. She's going to have a few different ones, but this is gonna be her everyday outfit, sort of. Okay, I think I'm gonna work on her hair and then we'll get more detailed into her outfit. I'm gonna do her face first, actually. Yeah, so her name is Luna. She's part of this kingdom, and the story starts when her father is on his deathbed, and he tells her that he wants her to be queen instead of her brother, her older brother, who is immediate heir. And so it just has this really interesting story just about, about the story overall is kind of about perseverance. And it's like a fantasy story, but there's not like magic. I have a hard time explaining it. Like, I'm good at writing within words, but not so much telling a story, which is ironic. Um, yeah, but I'm excited to take this character and turn it into something I can visualize. That's honestly what I love so much about character art, is you can make something that was in your mind just come alive and have other people see the same vision you have, and I just love that so much. Okay, here, it's a bit of a blank facial expression, I'm not gonna lie. But this is just supposed to be a simple profile design of her. We'll do more fun things down the line, I promise. Okay, so let's do her hair. I want her hair to kind of swoop like this in the front, so it's kind of like bangs, and then she has strands of hair that come down like this. And her hair is pretty long, which you can't see super well in this drawing. I think I'm gonna have it like peek out from underneath here. When I have her in different, more dynamic poses, and like with the winds blowing, you'll definitely be able to see her hair better that way. When I came up with her name, it was very much moon inspired. Okay, I think I'm gonna try this. I want her to have many defined details, but I also don't want the black to stand out too much. So, yeah, I think this will be a good pen. So while I'm doing this, I'll give some more backstory on this OC character. So, like I said before, her name is Luna. She becomes heir to the throne by her father's last-minute decision. And so, although she was previously close with her brother, immediate heir by birth, this last-minute change really brings a strife between them. And she also has a sister named Stella. They still stay pretty close, but there's this hatred from her brother because of this, and so he naturally decides to try and remove her from the throne in any way possible, using excuses such as she's too young, or that their father was not in his right mind when he decided to make this last minute change. But she gets through the throne anyway, which makes him kind of back off for a little while, but then he does try and remove her from the throne again, and several different attempts of murder, kidnapping, etc. Which sounds dark, but I promise it's not. When I wrote this story, it's still written in a somewhat kid-friendly way. So another part of the story is she isn't exactly a conventional queen. She does not want to follow all the same rules that have been previously set for those of the kingdom. For instance, one of those things is you, as a queen or king who is not married, you are supposed to have a royal, I forget what I called it. I had to actually research the term for this book, but I'd say like chief advisor, something of that sort. If you're not married, this is something you're supposed to have. And so she had a childhood friend who actually lived in the village part of this kingdom, so he was not a royal, and she wanted him to be this royal advisor because he was educated despite where he lived, and they had been friends all their lives, so she decided that's who she wanted to be her advisor. But according to the rules and laws and such that had been made, a commoner couldn't just have a political part in the royal. You couldn't just do that for some reason. But she decided that she didn't want it to be that way anymore, so she kind of fought against that and got this kid she'd been friends with all her life to be her royal advisor, which is awesome. And yes, he is also the love interest because why not? Yeah, so this character's name is Solus, and he's kind of the, I don't know, the Prince Charming, but he's definitely, the daring kind of guy who's out to protect her and wants to help her, and he comes in pretty useful later on because when she's trying to escape her brother, who's being rude. Yeah, so we got that. And so it's like she's pretty brave because of the reforms she was making and trying to be a good queen, help the people, and change these rules and laws that didn't make sense. It was part of the reason her father chose her last minute is because he recognized that she was going to have a good impact on the kingdom. And just so you know, I had a lot of fun writing this little book, which I've always been into writing ever since I was younger, and I wrote this just out of like a school project kind of thing, and I actually ended up learning a lot, and it was so much fun to do. Yeah. But this is the first book I've ever had the intention of writing and actually gone through with it, written it, and it turned out well in my opinion. So that's why I kind of wanted Luna, the main character of this book I wrote, to be my first official OC because the book has a special place in my heart. She's a character I just really loved, and I thought it made the most sense since I already had like a backstory and knew who she was. That's probably what stopped me from ever making an OC before, is because one, I probably didn't really know how, and two, I just didn't have a backstory, which makes it a little difficult. You just kind of make it up as you go, and that doesn't sense and all that. Yeah, so I'm basically rambling now. A little torn on her nose. Probably just keep it like that. Yeah, so since I planned on using her as my first OC, I've been kind of planning and figuring out what I wanted her to look like, which of course I had something in mind since the beginning when I wrote about her, but I'd say this is a pretty close, I really like this. It's obviously not realistic, it's still basically cartoony, but I still like it anyway. And I'm thinking I do sort of want to keep the whole moon thing, because as I've told you the names of people in this book, it's probably very obvious to some of you that I use this theme of um, Latin names, which I researched. Like every single main character in my book has a carefully researched name, and um, it has a meaning specific towards to who they are, which I found to be super fun. Yeah, so Luna, you know, Moon, Solus, the sun, Stella, her sister, the stars. I mean, it's kind of it's kind of cheesy, but it was still fun. Okay, I think I'm gonna start coloring her. So I'm gonna use the soft dip pen to, and of course the bucket tool to lay down some flat color, and then we'll do some shading, and we'll kind of see where we go from there. If I decide that I like it, this will probably be the end of the video, and I'll make it my part 1 on this series of OC characters that I'm going to be making, which I'll probably, while I'm going to be using her for a majority of my stuff, if this turns out well, I'm going to want to do the same thing with some of the other characters in the book, because I think that would be really fun. So I hope this turns out well, because that's something I'd like to do. Okay, so I have my solid colors laid down, and I'm going to start another layer so I can start shading. So, I don't think it's going to be too complex of shading job here, but yeah, I'm very happy with the colors I chose. I think they look nice. Yeah, so I'm probably going to make further designs later on, probably in another video, of like her coronation outfit and other alternative styles she wears throughout the story I made for her. I think what would be really cool someday is if I were to either use her in animations or something like that, because she's just a really cool character that I enjoy. I'm going to switch to my pen fade brush thing that I use for shading. If you use IBS Paint, I highly recommend that you use this brush for whenever you are doing shading. It just works the best. Yeah, so I'm starting off with this pink color for her skin. I'll probably build off from here. But I'm gonna use the blur here a little bit to see about blending this into her skin. Yeah, that's much better. Okay, I think I'm going to take an even darker pink and work where it is, you know, definitely very dark. Add little bits of blush here and see how blurring them, so it'll give just enough color to where she doesn't look dead, but Yeah, that looks pretty good. Okay, I'm gonna do her hair next. I'm gonna use a super dark navy color to start off with. I'm probably going to be using black by the time I'm done with her hair to shade, but she does have really dark hair, and I started off with blue, but I want it to have a bit of a black texture to it when I'm done here. Okay, I think I'm done with her hair for now. And I'll start working on portions of her dress, which I don't feel like there's going to be a whole lot to shade on the dress. The skirt will probably have the most detail. I'm going to use my blur tool on some of these raw edges here so it doesn't look so bold, and just give that nice shaded, faded look. Okay. I really like the way this turned out. There's certain things I probably would have changed. The sleeves, I think the top of the dress probably needs a little more work. The sleeves could be a little bit smaller. But overall, I really love the colors, the skirt, definitely. The hair turned out just the way I really wanted it to. And I think I'm going to end this video at this point. Stay tuned for more videos because I definitely want to do more using this OC, making her more costumes, doing her different poses, different expressions, and really taking this the full mile. But for those of you who just want to see how this OC started, how Luna started it out, and her design, this is the video for you because where it all started. And I'm really excited to see where I take her in the future and how she's even going to change as my art style changes. So yes, thank you so much for watching this video, and if you would like to support me, please subscribe to this channel, like the video, and feel free to leave comments down below on any kind of constructive criticism, any future videos you would like to see, tips, etc. Thank you so much again for watching. Have a great day. Bye.